Yeah, Easter weekend and the sun is shining. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Did I say if you're watching this in playback, skip forward a moment or two? We are just letting people join, so good morning if you've already joined online. I can't see this far away. I can see people have joined, but I can't see this far away who it is or how many, so welcome if you are joining live. And also welcome if you're watching this on playback. So I am Jen Wilson from IamJenWilson.com, here to take you through your yoga session today. Set up as it always is for this, it's a 30-minute class. We're going to start off grounding into our bodies, getting comfortable with our breath, just switching off some of the internal chatter, and if there is internal chatter there, just be aware that it's happening and not get too involved in what that chatter is. And we'll go through some movement, and then I'll take you into your Shavasana relaxation where you get to stay for as long as you want. I'll take you to that point and then sign off, so you can stay there until I sign off, or if you just feel really comfortable and settled and you have the space in your day to stay longer, then please do stay longer. We're going to start today lying on our back with our head rested, our spine rested. You can have your knees bent if that feels okay, to let the soles of the feet rest on the floor. If that doesn't feel comfortable for any reason, you can have your legs out long. So do what feels right for you. And that's the theme throughout class. Always do what feels right for you. Don't force yourself if something feels like it's niggling, and I'll remind you of this as we go through. Listen to those niggles. That's your nervous system sending messages to you, telling you to pay attention and to change something. So really pay close attention to any noise that's coming from your body at all. So whatever you want to look like as you lie down, if your neck feels particularly tight, a wee cushion in at the back of the head can be useful. Just if you've got the knees bent, let the soles of the feet rest on the floor. If your legs are long, let the heel rest into the floor, and we're going to let our hands rest onto our body. So one hand on your tummy and one hand on your chest. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, let your eyes be closed, and if you're not, then just find a spot on the ceiling that you can let your gaze settle to. And we're going to take 2 deep breaths where we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting the breath sigh right out. When we do these sighs, it's a little nod to the nervous system, just to let it know that we want to let go of anything that we don't need, that we're just here to settle in and ground into the floor. So notice the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor. Notice the back of the head, notice the spine, notice the weight of the pelvis, and then the weight of either the feet or the legs. Maybe you'll notice the weight at the back of the arms. And then start to breathe in and out through the nose, and following your breath in and following the breath back out. And notice the parts of your body that your breath reaches to. Notice any parts of your body that move when you breathe. And right at this moment, we're not trying to get any specific part of the body to move. We're just seeing what happens naturally when we're not putting any effort in. Notice if there are any parts of your body that feel a bit sticky when you're taking your breath. And if there is any stickiness there, is there anything that you can do to help release that? So sometimes it's just giving the area a little bit of a rub. Sometimes it's just taking your attention to that area. And then we're going to bring our attention to our tummy. And what we want to do right now is to let the tummy rise and fall with each breath. So as you're inhaling, let the tummy round out, try and not hold any tension in the muscles, and then as you're breathing out, let the tummy drop back down, almost like you're trying to blow the tummy up as you're breathing in. And as you're doing this, notice if that meets any restriction. And then we're going to keep the tummy muscles engaged so that the tummy doesn't rise and fall for the next few breaths. And bring the attention into the chest and the back of the body. So when you're breathing in, feel your back expand out and maybe press into the floor a little bit more firmly. And as you're exhaling, just feel things soften and relax. And again, notice, is there any restrictions here? Does it feel tight? Or does it feel really alien to you? If you've never done a breath like this, it might feel challenging to get the breath to go into the body. But if you just imagine that the breath that you're breathing in is like, it's heavy, so it wants to drop down, working with gravity. We're going to take another 2 breaths here. And then after your next breath, take the arms up overhead, take the legs out long if they're not already there, and just try and reach your body out as long as you can. And as you're inhaling, reach the fingers to one side of the room, reach the toes to the other. And as you exhale, just release and let go. Then press through the soles of the feet and press through the palms of the hands. And as you're inhaling, look for as much length as your body will let you have. And then as you exhale, release and let go. We're going to do that for another 2 breaths. So if your foot position felt more useful in one rather than the other, do your 2 breaths for your foot in that position. If both felt useful, then just alternate. Do one way and then do the other. And then if you're okay to let the hands come back down to the sides of the hips, bend the knees to let the feet rest onto the floor. So it doesn't matter how far away the soles of the feet are from your backside, it's just finding a place that feels really comfortable to let the weight of the soles of the feet rest into the mat. Hand rested down to the sides of the hips with the palms face down. And we're going to start to move the arms. So one part of the breath, we bring the arms up and take them overhead. And then at the next part of the breath, you're going to bring the arms all the way back to rest to the sides of the hips. As you're doing this, notice how it feels for the shoulders. So if you feel really tight, try the arms a tiny bit wider. See if that feels more comfortable. Or maybe you have to bend the elbows slightly so that the movement feels smooth. Or maybe turning the hand so that the palms are facing each other as you come up and over. So everybody's going to be different here as you're moving the hands. So just notice what feels better for you. Also notice as you're bringing the arms up, do your ribs lift away from the floor slightly, just to allow you to get the hands all the way back. And if that is happening, can you engage your tummy muscles just enough that it helps create a bit of a boundary, creates a restriction in the ribs so that the ribs don't lift. And that's going to let this movement come into the shoulder joint a bit more. And that might mean your hand doesn't go all the way to the floor, and that is absolutely fine. We're never forcing the body through any kind of movement. And the next time the hands come back down to the floor, you're just going to gently roll yourself over, and we're going to make our way up to a standing position. So however you want to come up. If you can come up without using your hands to get you up off the floor, then please do. But if you want to lose your balance or it doesn't feel like the right thing for you, if you've got any injuries, then please use your hands where you need to. And bring your feet so that they're resting in underneath your hips. So we're just going to take a few moments here to ground in this new position. Down through the sole of the feet, up through the crown of the head. So when we think about lifting through the crown of the head, it lets all the bones drop into the places that they're meant to. Our arms are just rested down to the sides of the hips. Notice how your weight drops through the feet. Do you have a habit of standing more into one leg than the other? And it's totally fine if you do. I just want you to start to pay attention to what your natural habits are. If you've ever had an injury anywhere, then you will instinctively move away from that injured site so that you're not loading as much weight through it. Just let the weight settle. And then I want you to think about the heel on one foot. Doesn't matter which one, just think about the heel and the weight dropping down through the floor on that heel. And then take your attention over to the other heel without shifting your body weight, without doing anything. Just take the attention there and notice the heel on the other foot. And then go back to the first foot, but bring your attention to the ball of the foot. And notice the pad at the base of the heel and the pad at the base of the little toe. And then do the same thing on the other foot. Go to the ball of the foot and notice the pad at the base of the big toe and the pad at the base of the little toe. And then take your weight back so that your attention is resting in both heels. And then move your attention forward into the balls of the feet. So you've got these 3 tripod points on the soles of your feet. There might be some areas that feel more responsive than others. So if there's a part of your foot that doesn't feel very responsive, see how it feels to take some weight over to it, just to create more of a connection through the body, from the mind through the nervous system down to that specific part of your body. And then when you're ready to let your weight settle fairly evenly from left to right, front to back of the foot, I want you to start to press the tips of the toes down into the floor. So as you're pressing the tips of the toes down into the floor, trying to draw the ball of the foot and the heel closer together to create this kind of plunger effect in the middle of the foot. So you're activating the arches. So if you've got fallen arches or have any foot issues, this is really useful for you to do to try and help stimulate the muscles through the feet. If it's not working for you, if you turn your foot onto the outside edge and curl the toes in towards the heel to really scrunch the muscles up and then stretch it out a couple of times just to stimulate the muscles, and then try it again and see if that helps. But we do this so that it's triggering all the nervous system, so that when we come into doing balance work, it helps us with our balance work. You want to turn one foot slightly out and bring the other foot, whatever your normal walking step forward is. And then find those tripod points, find the press down of the toes, find the lift through the arches. So if you're not getting that lift through the arches, maybe try your feet in a slightly different position. So you might need to go a bit wider, you might want to go longer, you might want to go shorter. You might want to change the angle of this back foot. You're only turning the back foot out enough that it feels okay. If it feels like it's pulling in at your knee or your hip feels really tight, then maybe you keep your toes pointed a bit straighter. Or maybe you turn it out more. Everybody's going to be unique here, so do what feels right for you. Bring your attention to your breastbone, and we're going to turn our breastbone so that it's pointing the same direction as that front foot. Now as you turn round, if that changes anything in this back leg that you need to adjust the position, then you can adjust the position. And if it feels better to have the heel slightly lifted on the back foot, then you can have that as an option as well. Bring your hands into heart centre and press the palms in against each other. Have this front knee slightly bent. Be strong through the arches in your feet. That's what's going to help ground us and keep us stable. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And then we're going to keep reaching up and out as we start to tilt forward. So we're tilting from the pelvis, keeping our tummy muscles engaged, but as we keep reaching, that's going to help. Now, depending on how your body feels this morning, you might stop halfway down and pop your hands onto your thigh, or you might keep going closer to the floor. Now, if you're almost at the floor but not quite there, you could let the knees bend very slightly. Wherever you are, relax the neck. Take 2 breaths here. And then pressing the feet into the floor. Start to reach out and lift yourself back up. But keep the reach, and that's going to help keep the tummy muscles engaged without you thinking about it too much. Bring your hands all the way back into heart centre. And we're going to press it all the way up. And take your reach and lean. So sometimes when you go into it for the second time, your body's going, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing now. So it can feel a bit easier to come into it. But if anything's pulling, you always back off it. Press the feet into the floor, take that reach all the way up. Hands back into heart centre. Do that one more time. Reaching up, fold and reach forward. Stay strong through your feet, help with the balance. Only go to the position that feels comfortable. Relax the neck, stay here for 2 breaths. And then take your reach, pressing it all the way up. When you get to the top, bring your hands back into heart centre, step that front foot back, straighten the feet up. And take a couple of breaths here, just noticing if anything feels different in your body from before we started the movement. We've worked one side, things might feel more spacious or lighter or heavier or completely the same. We're going to start to turn the other foot out, take our step forward. Get strong through those arches, turn the breastbone so that it's pointing the same direction as your front foot. And then decide, how does this back leg feel? How does the back hip feel? Do you want to adjust the position of anything so that you can feel more comfortable, more grounded? Slight bend in this front knee. Now when we go into this move on this other side, you might feel totally different in tension in your backside, tension in the hamstrings. It might be looser, it might be tighter. Honour that. Be aware of it and only move in the range that feels right. Doesn't matter what you did on that other side. So when you're ready, reaching up. And then keep the reach as you fold forward. Make sure you're not holding your breath. It might be useful for you to exhale as you're coming down. Relax the neck at the bottom, wherever the bottom of your movement is. So remember the options, hands on the knees, slight bend in the knees to let the fingers rest on the floor, whichever feels good. We're here for 2 breaths, and then pressing the feet in, reaching as you come all the way up. And then taking the hands back into heart centre. So with the breath pattern, you might want to inhale up and exhale as you reach forward. Relaxing the neck. 2 breaths at the bottom. And then pressing the feet in, inhaling, maybe all the way up. And then hands back into heart centre. So doing that one more time. Breathing how feels comfortable, reaching it up. Take the reach as you fold forward. Come to wherever feels good, relax the neck. Press the feet in, come all the way back up. Bring the hands into heart centre, step the feet back in, let the feet straighten up. Notice how that feels through the body. Keep the hands pressing in against each other. We're going to go back to the first side. So slightly turning your foot out, step your other foot forward, find that comfortable position. We're going to take this movement more into upper body now. So we're just finding somewhere where we can feel really grounded. Bending the front knee, but taking a little bit more weight in the back leg. And when I say a little bit more, it's like 10% more, not totally loading back, but just a very slight shift of the weight back. When you're ready, take your arms out wide. So you might want to inhale here. And then the next part of the breath, we're going to close the arms straight out in front. So let the palms meet with the arms straight. Doesn't matter which hand, we're going to have our eyes focused on the thumb. And you're going to sweep one arm round. So let the chest and the hips follow. And then the next part of the breath, we're going to close the hand back to the start. Eyes are still focused on the thumb. Then do the same thing on the other side. So eyes are focused on the thumb. Sweep the arm round. And then sweep the arm closed. Take both arms out wide. And then bring your hands back into heart centre. So doing that again, maybe pacing it out with the breath. So you might want to inhale as you open out. Exhale, arms stay straight as they close. Eyes on one thumb, inhale. As the arm opens, turn the chest, let the hips follow if they need to. Exhale, let it close, eyes stay on the thumb. Other side, inhale, follow that thumb round. Exhale, let it close. Bring it back. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale the hands into heart centre. So do that one more time. Inhale the arms out wide. Exhale, straight arms close in front. Eyes on one thumb. Inhale, follow it round. And exhale, let it close. Other side. Inhale, follow it round. And exhale, let that close. Inhale, both arms out wide. And exhale the hands back to heart centre. Step that front foot in, straighten the feet back up. Take a moment just to tune into the spine. Notice how it feels. We're going to switch it to the other side. So finding your stance, other foot forwards. Strong through the arches, soft bend in the front knee. When you're ready, inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, arms stay straight as you close them in front. So eyes on one thumb. Again, doesn't matter which one goes first. Inhale, follow the hand round. Exhale, follow it back. Other side, inhale, follow it round. And exhale, follow it back. Inhale, hands go out wide. Exhale, hands back into heart centre. Inhale, take the hands up overhead. No, confused, back. Sorry. Oh well, real life. Okay, so I take that back out. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, bring the hands together out in front. Don't know where my head went there. Follow the arm round. Eyes on the thumb. Inhaling it out. And exhaling it closed. Other side, inhale it round. And exhale it closed. Inhale the hands out wide. Exhale the hands into heart centre. One more time. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, close the arms straight out in front. Follow one hand round. Inhale. And exhale, let it close. Other side, inhale. And exhale, let it close. Inhale, both arms wide. And exhale the hands to heart centre. Step that front foot in. Bring the feet back so that they're pointing straight ahead. See how it feels to close your eyes for a couple of breaths when you're in this stance. If that doesn't feel good, if it makes you feel dizzy, then keep your eyes open with the gaze dropped to the floor. Now we're going to come back to the floor. So if you can come down to the floor without using your hands, again, please do. But if you need to use your hands for any reason, also do that. And we're going to sit with our legs slightly bent, both knees pointing in the same direction with your hands rested back. So if you need your legs a bit longer, you can let them be longer. If you want to bend them a bit more, you can bend them a bit more. But have them in a position that feels comfortable, that you can lift the knees up, roll over the soles of the feet, and then go towards the other sides. And then lift the knees up and over to the other side. So as you're doing this, just notice, don't want the shoulders up around the ears. We want to keep the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. You are leaning into your hands just to give you a bit of balance. If you wanted to try this with your hands away from the floor, you could. It's going to work core muscles a little bit more. But you are also very welcome to keep the hands back and let them rest there as you go from one side to the other. So just wakening up into the hip joints a bit more. Getting a bit of movement into the lower back. Now you can stay here with this movement going from side to side. Or if you wish, you could lean over the front leg of the direction you're heading. Your options here, you can lean over the thigh, you could lean over the shin, You could lean over the ankle, or you don't have to lean anywhere at all. So do what feels right here. Gently push it up, take it to the other side, and again you've got that option only if you wish to come into the lean. The lean doesn't need to look exactly the same on each side, so if you're leaning both ways, it might be that when you come to one side you lean over the thigh away from the foot, and when you go to the other side it might actually feel better to come towards the shin. Your hips are not always in perfect alignment, and we hold tension differently from one side to the other, so doing exact mirrored movements isn't always useful. Honour our asymmetry is what my teachers say. And if you want to stay on one side for an extra couple of breaths, if you get there and you think, oh, that's interesting, that's tighter than I thought it was going to be, feel free to stay there for a couple of breaths before you move on. We're going to do that just one last time to each side if this feels nice. And then bringing yourself back to the centre. Let your feet rest towards the floor in front of you. Take your hands parallel to the floor. We're going to pull the tummy muscles in as we start to roll down towards the mat. So letting the spine rest down into the floor, and then take the arms overhead, lengthen the legs out, and the same as we did right at the start in this movement sequence, we stretched out, reaching the fingers to one side, reaching the toes to the other. On the exhale, let it go, press through the soles of the feet, take those big deep breaths again, inhaling to stretch out, exhaling to let it go. 2 more breaths. And then if there's any other movement that your body needs, give it that movement now. And when you're ready, we're going to go into Shavasana. We're going to get set up for Shavasana. So options for Shavasana: legs out long, feet wider than the hips, toes flopped out to the sides. If that feels like it's pulling on your back, your option would be to bend the knees, let the feet be wider than the hips, and let the knees rest in against each other. If that's not an alternative for you, then having the legs out long but having cushions underneath the knees, just to take the pressure off the lower back. Your hands can be away from the body with the palms faced up, or you can let the hands rest on your body if you want to have this as a more internal practice. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, let the eyes be closed, and if not, just let your gaze soften to the ceiling. And this is where I'm going to invite you to stay here for as long as you can. I'm going to guide you through another few thought processes, a couple of parts of breath work, and then leave you. But I want you to know that this time is yours to be rested into the mat. So if you need to pull a blanket over you or put socks or anything on, you can do that and then get yourself settled in. When you're getting yourself settled in, the same as we did right at the very start, 2 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, so that you're really sighing the breath out. And then go back to breathing in and out through the nose. I'm going to invite you at this time to give yourself some thanks and gratitude for making the time to do some yoga practice, and for listening to your body and honouring whatever it told you. And then I'm going to invite you to set a positive intention or goal, something that you wish to come true in your life, and repeat that intention in a short positive statement as though it's something that you already have, and repeat it to yourself 3 times. You could use something like, I am calm, or I am focused, or I am strong, or anything at all that you want to come true in your life. Repeat it 3 times as though it already exists. And then you're going to just bring your attention back to your breath, following the breath in and out of the body. As you're breathing in, bringing coolness and calmness into the body. And as you're breathing out, let your cares and worries float away. In, coolness and calmness. Out, your cares and worries.